The current conditions are quite bad for persons trying to live only off interest income, because interest rates are low, and interest rates are low in US, and interest rates are very low even in India, because you need to consider that inflation today is perhaps greater than 7%. So what should you do? First of all, the easiest thing for people to do, especially for retirees, is to call me up and say, sir, this Shriram Transport bonds are available at 9%, India Infoline bonds are available at 9.15%, and these bonds have so many. So please don't go down the risk line to improve your returns. Edelweiss also came out with some kind of a bond at 9 or 10%, whatever. Make sure that you don't go down too much on the quality, right? So when you don't go down on quality, you're risking your principal. That is some of the worst kind of risk that you can take ever with your portfolio. Don't do that. Don't take that kind of a risk. Stick to very good quality, especially during times which are difficult. So recurrence of COVID, Omicron, whatever, and suddenly you will find poor quality stocks, poor quality bonds and debentures vanishing, not giving you enough liquidity. So whatever it is, if there is no liquidity, it is as good as your money is gone, because if you can't get your money when you need it, that is just bad luck. So don't go down the quality line. That's the easiest thing to do, because you say, oh, I'm getting 7% or 6% in the bank, I'm getting 9.5% here. Believe me, 9.5% is very high, because it is 50% more than what State Bank of India is giving you. So look at it as a percentage of what State Bank is giving you. If the State Bank of India 3-year deposit is at 6% and somebody is giving you 9%, it is high. If the bank interest that you're getting on saving bank is 2% and you're getting 9% in some bond or 10% in some bond, that is high. So please understand the difference between high and what you think is high. Normally people think 18 is high and 10 is still okay. 10 is not okay when SBI is giving you 2% in your savings bank account and 6% in your deposits, right? So it is becoming more and more difficult for people to, so therefore what is happening is people are going into equity. That's fine, but unfortunately or fortunately, from 2008 to 2021 or 22, we are already in 2022, is 13 years plus, or this will be the 14th year when we have not seen a long bear market. So when I tell people that you have not seen a bear market, they say, oh, March to September or March to July of 2020 was a bear market. I'm not talking of a 4-month bear market. I'm talking of a 6-year bear market, 1996, 97 to 2003. It made people change careers, because they said, oh, now I think the mutual fund industry is finished. There is nothing going to happen in equity. And 2003 to 2007, the market back-ended the returns. If you see from 1996 to 2007, it is not a great return that you got. But unfortunately or fortunately, people look at that from 2003 to 2007, it is a sensational 7 times what you got. Index went up from 3,000 to 21,000 in 4 years. What it didn't do for the last 5-6 years, it suddenly did it in the next 4 years. So remember, right now we are in the middle of a bull run. That last 3-4 years have been very good. So if you take the last 10-12 years, maybe it was not too great, but then remember the last 3-4 years have been very good. So maybe in the total 10 years, starting from say 2017 or 2018 to 2028, if the total returns have been front-ended in the first 4 years, then the next 6 years can be bad. So you have to understand this before you get into equity. So if you're 80 years of age and you're pulling money out of equity funds, that's great. But remember that if the market goes bad, you may not be able to pull it till you're 87 or 88, and that's not very good. So you need to know that you have to have next 10 years expenses somewhere available in a combination of bond plus equity, assuming for a minute that the returns are zero. I mean, ideally you should assume negative, but at least assume zero because of inflation. So real return is going to be zero. So plan your cash flows in such a way that some money comes from the interest, some money comes from the principal. Don't worry too much if it is coming out of the principal, especially after your age of 80. Maybe you need money only for 10-12 years. So it's okay to do a drawdown on your capital. But drawing down on your capital when you're 60 may not make sense, because you need money for the next 40 years unless the principal itself is very good. Then you're not really worried about how much you're withdrawing, what is inflation, etc. So If you have an annuity, like if you are in the US, you have social security which will come to you for the rest of your life. If you are in India and your pension will come to you for the rest of your life. So if you have your pension, if you have your interest coming, if you have your systematic withdrawal plan, continue your systematic withdrawal from your equity funds. If you have direct equity, I think it is time to change to mutual funds, especially for 70 or 80, unless you have a younger person handling it, because Phil Fisher made mistakes in his investments beyond the age of 70. That's what Ken Fisher says. So at some stage, your ability to manage your own portfolio will go away, and your children may or may not be interested in managing a direct equity portfolio. So then it may make sense for you to go into equity funds, maybe even index funds, and start withdrawing from that. Say after 1 year you start doing a systematic withdrawal plan. Take due consideration whether you want to take your money as an annuity or as a lump sum. So based on all that, you take a decision, and make sure that you don't get confused between income and cash flow. What you require is cash flow. What you think in your head is you require income. You don't require income. A part of your cash flow requirement can come from your principal also. Just remember that. Thank you.